I am Charles Asissi on behalf of Team Founding Fuel, and will be your host for this evening's
this
conversation
evening's
with
conversation with
Ashish Vidyarthi.
Ashish Vidyarthi.
Now,
Now,
for those of
for
you
those of
logged in
you
on
logged in on
YouTube,
YouTube,
Ashish Soni
Ashish
will be your
Soni will
guide
be
on
your
this
guide on this
channel,
channel,
and
and
to those
to
of
those
you
of
on
you on
Zoom,
Zoom,
my
my
colleagues
colleagues
are on
are
the
on the
call as
call as
well,
well,
and will
and will
stay
stay
connected
connected
with
with
you.
you.
Now, before
Now,
we
before we
dive into
dive into this
this conversation, I
conversation, I
must
must
place
place
a
a
few
few
things in
things in
context.
context.
Founding
Founding
Fuel's
Fuel's
mission
mission
is to
is to
understand
understand
how
how
entrepreneurs
entrepreneurs
think
think
and
and
what
what
it
it
may
may
take
take
to
to
foster
foster
an
an
entrepreneurial
entrepreneurial
mindset.
mindset.
Now, we
Now,
don't
we don't
claim to
claim to
have
have
answers to
answers to
all
all the
questions,
questions,
but
but
answers
answers
exist.
exist.
It's
It's
just
just
that
that
it
it
is dispersed
dispersed
and
and
lies
lies
across a lies
lies
across a
across a
network.
network.
That is
That is
why
why
over the
over the
years
years
we
we
have
have
gone
gone
about
about
building a
building a
network
network
that has
that
some
has
of
some
the
of the
finest
finest
people
people
uh, in
in
institutions,
institutions,
both in
both in
India
India
and
and
other
other
parts of
parts
the
of the
world,
world,
with
with
whom
whom
we
we
collaborate
collaborate
very,
very,
very
very
closely.
closely.
Now,
Now,
these
these
collaborations
collaborations
allow
allow
us
us
to
to
do
do
a
a few
few
things.
things. Um, First,
First,
we
we
create
create
meticulously
meticulously
reported
reported
stories
stories
that
that
reside
reside
on
on
foundingfuel.com, and
foundingfuel.com,
I
and I
urge you
urge you
to visit
to visit
foundingfuel.com.
foundingfuel.com.
We
We
produce a
produce a
daily
daily
newsletter
newsletter
that
that
hits
hits
subscriber
subscriber
inboxes
inboxes
every
every
morning
morning
at
at
8
8
a.m.
a.m.
Subscribe
Subscribe
to
to
it.
it.
I
I
promise
promise
you,
you,
you
you
will
will
love
love
it.
it.
And if
And
you
if you
don't,
don't,
unsubscribe.
unsubscribe.
Um,
Um,
we
we
discuss the
discuss
most
the most
important issues
important
of our
issues
time
of our
on
time
a
on a
dedicated
dedicated
Slack channel.
Slack
Now,
channel.
this is
Now, this is
a
a
free
free
app
app
that you
that
can
you can
access on
access
your
on your
phone,
phone,
tablet,
tablet,
or
or
desktop.
desktop.
Now,
Now,
this
this
conversation with
conversation with
Ashish that
Ashish
we're
that
going to
we're
have,
going to
for
have, for
instance,
instance,
we carry
we'll
this
carry this
conversation
conversation
over
over
onto our
onto
Slack
our
channel,
Slack
and
channel,
we'll take
and we'll take
questions that you
questions
can't
that you can't
answer,
answer,
over here.
over here.
Then there's an
Then there's
extended
an
network
extended
that
network
works
that
very
works very
closely
closely
with us,
with us,
and
and
they help
they help they
collaborate with
collaborate
us
with us
to help
to
us
help us
solve some of
solve
the
some of the
most
most
wicked
wicked
problems that
problems
we
that we
face.
face.
Then there are
Then there
Founding
are Founding
Fuel's
Fuel's
signature
signature
masterclasses.
masterclasses. Now, it is part
Now,
of our attempt
of
to
our
understand
attempt
how
to
entrepreneurs think
understand
through
how entrepreneurs think
and
through
solve the
and
most
solve the most
complex issues they
complex
face.
issues they face.
Until now,
Now, until
our
now,
conversations have
our
focused on
conversations are
those in
focused on
business and
those in
government.
business and government.
But a few weeks
But
ago,
a few weeks
we
ago,
asked
we
ourselves,
asked
why
ourselves,
aren't we
why
engaging
aren't
in
we engaging
conversations with
in
people
conversations with people
outside business?
outside business?
Because
Because
Founding Fuel's
Founding Fuel's
mandate is
mandate
to
is to
seek
seek
out
out
the
the
finest
finest
minds,
minds
wherever
wherever
they
they
may
may
be,
be
and
and
ask
ask
them
them
what
what
matters
matters
most to
most to
them
them
about
about
them,
them
and
and
ask
ask them
them
about
about
their
their
personal
personal
journeys
journeys,
because this
because
is
this is
intended to
intended to
be
be
a
a
very
very
multidisciplinary
multidisciplinary
kind of a
kind of a
conversation.
conversation.
And
And
if
if
we
we
get
get
a
a
peek
peek into
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 the
the stories
stories
of
of
their
their
lives,
lives,
it
it
is
is possible
possible that
that
we
we
may
may
get
get
pointers
pointers to
to
the
the questions
questions playing
playing
on
on
our
our
minds
minds
about
about
how
how
ought
ought
we live
we live
and
and
how ought
how
we
ought
work.
we work.
And that is
And
how
that is
we
how we
first
first
reached out to
reached out to
Ashish
Ashish
Vidyarthi.
Vidyarthi.
And he
And he
promptly agreed
promptly
to be
agreed to
a
be
part of
a
this
part
show.
of this show.
So Ashish,
So,
thank
Ashish,
you
thank
so
you
much for
so much for
joining us
joining us
today
today
evening.
evening.
Absolute pleasure. Uh, so
Um,
for me, this is an opportunity to explore a part of me which I haven't. Uh, is to discover things that, uh, for me, Charles, the ability to communicate differently is what is available in world. And when Founding Fuel, Charles, you, and IG reached out and spoke to me, uh, I found that I'm going to be a willing participant in this experiment of um, exploring what could be available out of experiences of other human beings. So I am really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what comes out of it, what is being read, what is being understood. Excited.
Now, Ashish, even as we are speaking, I'm sipping chai out of a mug that has an imprint of Leonardo da Vinci on it, and I don't know if you can see this mug, you know. And I'm pointing to it out here. And in many ways, I think Leonardo da Vinci, he's someone I think who's very, very similar to you. You know, everyone thinks of him as an artist, but there's so much more to him, And the thing is, Ashish, that everyone knows of you as an award-winning actor, and that's the thing I want to start with. As I got talking to Ashish, he kept trying to tell me that he is also an actor, and that he wears other hats, that of a public speaker, an entrepreneur, a consultant, a husband, and a father. And he told me that, like everyone else, he has multiple identities, and that he has many stories to tell from each of this identity. Stories about getting past what others may think, stories about successes and failure, crisis and reinvention, courage and constraints, what does happiness mean to him. And so over the next 45 minutes, I'm going to ask Ashish to share some stories from his life, so it compels us to think about our own lives and our own personal journey. So, Ashish, let's begin with trying to find out who is Ashish Vidyarthi. And Ashish, I want to go back to an anecdote you shared with me. The time we were exchanging notes about over the phone, and you were speaking about the time at the Bangalore Lit Fest, where you were glowing the various kinds of people. And you said that you could see three kinds of people. There were people who wanted to take photos taken with you, then there were others who ignored you, and those who wanted to take a jibe at you. And just when the story started to get really interesting, you left it hanging. And I recall your intent then was to use it as a metaphor to define who you really are. Can we go back to pick up the threads on that story and begin by defining who you are? Who are you? Are you an actor, a speaker, a molecular biologist, or is there something else that we don't know? I mean, will the real Ashish Vidyarthi stand up, please?
So I mean, like, for me, it's always been intriguing. So have we to know that? Have we to know who I am? Have I to know who I am? Have I to know who you are as I go about it? Or can I actually reveal aspects of myself to me? For me, Charles, I have, beginning in Delhi, times in Delhi and wanting to be an actor, and I could not come out. Because being an actor is a complete no, you can't talk about it. In fact, it was very, very distant from how it seems even now. Even now, being an actor is not the same thing, but then the 80s it was completely out. But one thing which helped me in that period is that it allowed, there was a Tata Steel ad which said, "We also make steel. Hum ispat bhi banate hain." And that was sometimes you find a twig somewhere, in the breeze, and I found that, and I really got that I could be also. And so my life, if I see it purely from my point of view, is that forever I have not wanted to be one thing. Forever I wanted to do many things, and forever people and world has pointed to me directly or indirectly that you better be focused. Be very clear what is it that you do, so I have followed up on that, and chosen a profession and done something in those professions. At the same time, I've also played truant with what they said that I should do, and therefore, what I've discovered is that as we go about discovering the many aspects to us, the hindrance, what comes in our way is definitely ourselves, and also a whole lot the kind of acceptance that we would want from the world. And the episode that you refer to was from the Bangalore Lit Fest a few years back, as I visited that place. And somebody, I'd never been around so many writers in my life, and I was just savoring. It was amazing just to be around people who write books, for a living, and they're kind of steeped in that, in that proficiency of theirs. And I was there interviewing somebody, and somebody was to interview me. That was part of it. But for me, it was just the pleasure of being and taking a peep into another life, another way of thinking, another way of how people conduct themselves. So as an actor, I have always been inquisitive. So as an actor, one has woven stories about people and things, and said that, what could that person be thinking right now? Where is that person coming from? And here was an opportunity to live and see different people. So I walked into the writer's lounge. And so there were, clutch of writers there and sitting around. And I said that, if you don't mind, can I just be a fly on the wall and just be around, just listening to. So I was at a distance and I was just sipping my coffee, but I was all ears listening to them, how they were talking. And what's funny is that as an actor, as you move around different places, you get, every profession has jokes. All right. So as an actor, actors have jokes that they crack. So 5 actors sit together. What happened in that shot? Suddenly, that guy comes in front and you say, what happened? So it's an actor's joke. An actor has done something and he creates a joke. Similarly, even in films, the dance masters team, they have their dream. And I get 1 2 1 2 and 1 2 1 2 1 2 and kya udhar se 1 2 karke mudte hi wo kuch aur gaya. Now it's a joke which is of their profession, and the laugh is there. Fighters, they have that joke, how they did that, how they got a mundi gaada, how the punch mara, idhar gira, wo the roll karte hue idhar gira, samne ye kaat laga wo. So I have been used to jokes across cultures, across work. Okay, if you notice, so even as you create characters, one of the things that I keep in mind is that, can I create a joke of that character, of that profession? Because those jokes are very close to us. So I had this opportunity to even listen to the kind of jokes, the inside jokes that a writer is cracking, all that. So as I sat there, I'm kind of all ears, I'm there, and suddenly this set of people, as they got up, and one of them looked at me and said that, so you're here talking about social media? No, it's all right about, talking about social media, nothing wrong, but not that I had mentioned it that I'm going to talk about social media or anything, but it was very interesting at that point, Charles, that that is what I was expected to do. If I'm an actor, if I'm there, that is what I'm supposed to do. It got me really present to a thing which, and life has not surprised me since then either, that all of us are part of us. I have an us, and you have an us. And then there are others. And we may be the most open people, but we are a set of open people. And then there are a set of people who are not as open as us. So there are always others. And what's always intrigued me is that we create our definitions, we create our boundaries. And some are allowed in, others are not. And as an actor, what I've ravished in is this ability to break any boundary of mine, both in terms of characters that I play and the cultures and the subcultures that I explore myself in. So for me, just to begin this conversation, is that my lifelong wish not to belong, not to be identified as, are you this or are you that? Can I know you as, I'm not as, I'm also. And what I'm doing more and more is that as I'm interacting with people, I'm really allowing people to see that when we give ourselves a chance to be also, there is so much more to discover, because that day, just as that conversation continued, when he said, "Oh, so you must be speaking about social media," I said, "No, you'll be surprised. You must visit my session. It's about something else." And then one of them said, "One of these lit fest they will do on villains." And again, there was a laughter. And I said, "Hey, thank you so much for thinking that, that is all that we can do." So it's phenomenal, my friend. It's phenomenal that when you step into any territory, some people will say this is yours and you don't belong here. Or even if you belong here, then you have to be that exotic species. You're an actor, so you will talk about social media. You will talk of how you bring theater into the world. You just talk about that because you're just an actor, remember? And that's what I've loved to push. Let people know that, hey, there's more to me. And there's more to each one of us.
So stay with me on that
Yep.
one for a minute, Ashish. And if I could just push you on this one
Yeah.
for a minute. The most popular perception about you is that most people have. I'm sure lot many people have logged on to hear Ashish Vidyarthi, the actor, speak,
Yeah.
and they relate to Ashish Vidyarthi, the villain. Many people relate to Ashish Vidyarthi, the
Sure.
villain. But I have heard, engaging with you one on one, I've heard you speak about how hard you've had to work to reinvent yourself. Now, does that hurt?
No, it's
You
part of the
know,
deal. Charles, it's part of the deal.
it's part of the
The
deal.
part of the deal is that you only make money, out of a brand. So let's face it.
I'm going to come to you on
Yeah.
that one. I'm going to come to you on that one. This is something we got to do a deep dive into.
Yeah.
But before we come to that one, Ashish, I did not say it in as many words. But when you spoke about this story you shared about your parents,
Sure.
and I felt a lump in my throat when you spoke about it. About how you felt different from kids your age or and when you experienced fear for the first time, and you were trying to tell me about fear, and you left that story incomplete, and you promised,
Yeah. So
that
yeah,
you
we go
will
back.
tell
We
that
go back
story.
sometime, Charles. We go back. This is I think around 7, 8 years old, and I remember I was studying in a school called Shiv Niketan, which was run by a German lady, uh, Mrs. Elizabeth Goba. Very protected. I was a very protected child of my parents. It was a very small school, and so I had my parents, extremely loving parents. Used to live in Karol Bagh, and then one day, for the first time in my life, I went to my classmates' house for lunch, and they used to live in behind Madras Hotel, uh, in Connaught Circus, beyond Connaught Circus, and I was shocked because I, for the first time, realized when he introduced me to the family, and then he took me around. My friend is there, and I was meeting them. I saw his grandparents, and they looked exactly like my parents. Charles, that was a period. Lunch went out of the window. You know, there were old grandparents who looked like my parents, and there were two young people who my friend said are his parents. And it's so funny, at the age of that 7, 8, first time I felt that my parents are going to die and who's going to look after me. I saw that I have there is a generation which has skipped between my grandparents and me. My parents are not there. My parents are actually looking like my closest friends' grandparents. And I hate to admit it, my first fear was what will happen to me when my parents will die. And so for me, death has, it comes back to me in different ways. I hate it, but I will admit it. At that point, that fear that who will look after me if my parents die? And from there, it has transitioned in different ways in which, I have looked after, people, and then now I wonder, so again, it is now my death has come up, and what will happen if I die, and how will others be looked after? But that was the first time, Charles, that I got fearful And it was not that now I will take care of my parents. I said, bye, who will look after me? Later on, it moved into some other roles, but I'll never ever forget that I came to know that I'm not like others. My my how I'm going to live my life was chosen at that moment in a different way, and that is something which remained with me. So I did a lot of maza, I did a lot of pagalpan, I did a lot of madness, but the fact that my parents are very old never left me. All right, it never left me, even to the point that through the time that they were alive, and even with us here in Bombay, my phone was never switched off, never ever switched off. And the people used to joke with me. So evening, my phone is not available. They would tell me, I said, 24/7, my phone is available, my friend. And so fear has been a huge part of my life, Charles. And I can see my choices have been prodded by that fear. And over a period of time, I've been, as an actor also, I've just modified that fear into making something unique with my life. But yes, fear has been a part of it.
You also mentioned that it percolates into other parts of of your life. You
Yeah.
said you mentioned that how it can even it's percolated into the relationships as well, and that you have bipolar relationships too.
Yeah, horrible. I don't even know how. I don't. But I will tell you. See, as an actor, now let's look at it. All of us as individuals, we have got a different makeup, and a whole lot of our makeup has gone into our profession, whatever that we're doing. Okay, we
And you
bring.
also mentioned that you can spot fear from a distance.
Yeah.
So do I look fearful to you right now? I'm just curious to know.
Well, it's phenomenal to be fearful. I'll share with you. I've altered my entire take about fear. Fear is not something to be fearful of. I source myself from fear. Today I'm 54, and I'm hungry because I'm fearful. I'm fearful that what will I create at this point? So my fear drives me. So for me, as I think that each one of us has a different makeup. So for me, I do not know why I became an actor, but definitely one thing is there, that I'm extremely sensitive to things. And I also realized very soon that I don't know, because I'm sensitive, I'm an actor, or I'm an actor, therefore I'm sensitive. But I do see that just to keep myself alive, I have to find more reasons. So as an actor, so therefore my heart goes out to people who cannot manage to live. For example, some years back when Michael Michael Jackson passed on the way he passed on, I would never forget that his song "The Man in the Mirror" played a huge role in my life. And when very simply he told me in a pop song that if you want to change something, change the guy in the mirror. All right, and look what he did to his life, his own life, how he managed himself. So that irony is never lost in me, that I'm really upset. I just loved Michael. Ek aur gana bajana uska yaar. Wow, beautiful yaar. Have a drink yaar. Oh, I just love Michael Jackson. Hey, beta tu dance karega Michael Jackson ki tarah. That's how we survive. That's how we celebrate the life of other performers, other artists. Uh, and that's what's going to remain. So I have always been on the side of the performer. I've been side of the human being, not so much the audience, because the audience uses and throws, and I'm part of the clique which creates content. I'm part of the clique which creates that experience. And I really think that we need to take care of ourselves. And please understand, this is not just limited to the actors. Each of us and over the years in my life, I've seen people at different stages. I've seen people at different curves of their life, professional lives. And, when they are really doing here, there's a whole lot of cheering and stuff is happening across work, my friend, across professions. And when this happens, there are people who are kind of not there, like they were never there kinds. And I remember, and I've been very lucky that I've been around some amazing people who have told me amazing tales, which has kept me alive to the fact that this guy, that guy who's, right there listening, we owe something to ourselves. So even as we are traversing this journey where people are celebrating us, saying some phenomenal things about us, and all that is happening, we should never ever forget that our prime responsibility, apart from generating that work that we do, is to take care of ourselves. And that's Jijivisha for me, the will to live. And the will to live is not just the will to breathe, but the will to nurture our soul, because our soul gets injured. And if you're sensitive, we will get injured, and I have to take care of myself. And therefore for me, as I traverse this path of being an actor, I did see myself really injuring myself. And it's funny, those injuries. My father, I remember at Moolchand Hospital, when I was still in the National School of Drama. My father had a heart attack. We took him to Moolchand Hospital. At that point, I was doing a play called Father by August Strindberg. Mr. Prasanna was directing it. And as I reached the hospital with him, as Baba lay down and they were putting that thing, all that thing was happening, and he was coming back and stuff like that happening, I just kept looking at him. And as they stepped out, suddenly he had another seizure right in front. And I'm just looking at him. I can do nothing. I'm just looking at him, no emotion. I'm just looking. And the first thing that came to me, just to protect myself, I knew very clearly. I said, I can die this way. Okay. And Father, I'll die this way. Just trying to protect myself, because it was too painful for me to see that amazing human being, my dear father, die. He didn't die that day, but that time he was dying and I was in pain. So I found ways to protect myself. Each one of us finds different ways to protect ourselves. All right. So each one who's listening, we find our own ways. And what we have to really get is that, can we respect the unique ways we find to protect ourselves, even as we go through it? So a lot of my friends tell me that you run away from pain. Oh, yes, I do, because I can't handle it.
So which kind of, so from fear to courage, fear and vulnerability to courage. Now, Ashish, one narrative I hear from friends is about how unhappy they are with what they are doing. And there are various reasons why they continue to do what they are doing. And one of the reasons, reason number one, many people often sidestep it, is money, and then they will shift gears, some other day. And I asked you, how is it that you shifted gears? How did you summon up enough courage to shift gears? What did it
Nothing.
take? And
So let's
remind you about two things. One was the Ashish Vidyarthi story, and the celebrity Nirma story. You told me to mention two magic words: celebrity Nirma. So I'm putting 2 points here: Ashish Vidyarthi and celebrity Nirma. So enlighten. Tell me about this.
So let's just get back. People say that, why do you want to be an actor? And then, when you're interviewed, then you say that, essentially you want to be an actor because you want to essay many roles. You want to play many parts which you've never played. And, in one life, you play many roles. Not true. Somebody like me, most of the people that I know become an actor because they want to take care of their family. This is our profession. This is our livelihood. All right. People put us at a pedestal and say, I'm an artist. And then artists start believing in. I don't know about others. I'm speaking only for myself. I became an actor to take care of my parents. This was the only profession with which I could honorably take care of them. All right. So having said that, as I came down to Bombay, the first thing that struck me is that, how do I find work? So I was very lucky, as I said, that meeting this amazing guru of mine, Pandit Satyadev Dubey, and he shared some amazing things with me, which have stayed with me. He always reminded me, even as I was beginning my journey as an actor, he said that people may be impressed with the magic that you create. Okay, so in theater also, you say, wow, what a performance, but never ever forget that an actor is basically nuts and bolts. Now, that's a conversation when I side with some other artists and actors. They don't like it. They say, no, no, there's something, all that. But Dubeji made it very clear to me that the stuff that we do backstage, the stuff that we do in riyaz, the stuff that we do in rehearsals of work, we are putting some things in place so that when it performs, it flies and people say, "Ooh, what was that?" All right. So that has made me separate, not say that I'm a magician. I give a, if I do a phenomenal job, people will say, "Oh, that was magic," but I know it isn't magic. And if you look at each one of our professions, we do something magical at our work. That's where we are. All right. Now imagine if we start believing that's magic, and that's what people do when they make somebody a celebrity. They let that person know, wow, you're magical. And then that person feels that I'm magical. And that earliest learnings from Dubeji, I'll never forget. I said, oh, got it. You're saying I'm a magician, but I know what I did, what was that sleight of hand? What did I do right? Because that was practice for me. But knowledge is one thing, and when you apply it in life. So as I started getting work after a lot of stuff, when you started getting work, so from an unknown actor whom nobody knows to somebody who's standing outside offices, and then somebody saying, "Us kale ko bula, us kale wale actor ko bula." Now remember, this is a time when there is zero political correctness. All right, this is nothing to do with political correctness. It's exactly the way you grow up. All right. So I was great because I was lucky because I stood out in a group of people who didn't look like me, and they stood out. And then at some point, people started recognizing my name. Even in the fraternity, films got released. I became Ashish Ji. As I became Ashish Ji, I was still doing the kind of roles that I was doing. I was living in a rented house, and suddenly, I remember one day returning back from a shoot and a film which I didn't want to do. I was doing it just for keeping myself afloat. I came back, and you're doing all sorts of films because after a few hits, then you get similar roles, and then the roles are not very good. So your career is not doing well. Okay. So it's, remember, I don't know about you guys, but I've had many pre-COVID times when work stopped, completely stopped. And except you didn't have symposia and webinars tell you it's okay, it'll all be okay. All right. So I remember coming back from one shoot, and I told Pilu, I said, Pilu, I want to leave the kind of work that I'm doing, like I want to leave it yesterday. And she said, what happened? I said, I'm doing this mediocre work. I know it is mediocre, okay. And I'm doing a mediocre, the script is this thing. I'm doing a caricaturish me to the hilt. And today my director comes and tells me, Ashish, you are a fantastic commercial film actor, yaar. And I said, my God, now that guy is saying, mother, I was like, it winced. I winced, and I don't know, that night I couldn't sleep. Within 3 days, I was going off to Madras to look for work. Nobody knew me, my friend. Nobody. I'd become Ashish Ji here. Nobody knew me. Luckily, I got one film. As I'm shooting that film, this happened that I take off from Bombay airport. I land at Madras airport, come out, and I have my person who does my makeup and my associate is there with me. We three walk out, and I look around, don't see anybody. Then I see a placard which says Aziz Vidyarthi. Okay. And I said, Aziz Vidyarthi. So I just walk up to this gentleman. He's just holding like this, Aziz Vidyarthi. I walk up to him. I said, Ashish Vidyarthi, Bombay film actor. I said, yes. Sit. And the first schedule happened. I got back an Indian Airlines ticket. Remember, it was handwritten, those tickets with the red, all that. Some Aziz Vaidyanathan, or those variations would be there. The moment this Aziz Vaidyanathan or Aziz Vidyanidhi would land in Bombay, again, I would become Ashish Ji. When I'm in sets, again, I'm Ashish Ji. So Ashish Ji, Aziz Vaidyanathan, or who the hell that is, we don't care. As that would keep happening, in the first 6 months before my first film released in South, in Tamil, and then that film became a hit, and again, I became known there. It lit me up forever, Charles, that all this thing that I really, I'm very proud of, and people suddenly know me, and I feel really, I bask in that glory. It's going to pass. Because it is all dependent on people who know you or people who don't. And the celebrity for me, what happens in this is that, people very easily love to, make somebody a celebrity. Wow, so you're a celebrity, sir. I remember going to, as we started off, go to a shop in Bombay that time. And remember, we used to go to shops to buy things. We didn't have anything called online. Nothing called online. It was just line and shops. So, you're buying a shirt or something, and you look at a shirt and, or shirt or anything. And suddenly he says, sir, ये shirt आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा है सर, ये 2,000 रुपए का है. So, suppose 2,000 उसमें से अरे 2,000 मतलब कुछ और है क्या? And the other people there suddenly say, अरे हाँ है ना सर, अरे वो सर के लिए वो 300 रुपए वाला शर्ट देना. आप सर अरे नहीं 300 नहीं अच्छा वाला दो यार, मतलब कलर. Now he also makes the play of that, so that he's they are aware that your stature is, you want to नहीं 300 नहीं यार, यही है, इसी को दिए दूसरा कलर दीजिए. Now that's what happens to celebrities. People make us celebrities, then they put us at a pedestal and they leave us. We are as if hooked to a thing. We are hanging. And I remember we were shooting with Mr. Shammi Kapoor in Dubai years back, and he one day told me a story. Again, great learnings from people. And I had just started. We were doing something called Dastan there, and he was shooting for another thing. He one day told me, "Barkhordar, yaad rakhna." He said that once there were a set of people around him who told him, "Kya Shammi ji, आजकल भीड़ कहाँ है?" When he said that मेरा career नीचे जा रहा था, as my career was dipping, I had some good friends who would say, "क्या शम्मी जी आजकल भीड़ नहीं दिख रही?" So he said, I don't know what he said then, but he told me this, but it was a learning. He said, मैंने उनको कहा, अरे है ना, भीड़ है ना, आजकल वो आशीर्वाद के बाहर है. That was Rajesh Khanna's house. All right. So he told me that be careful. People will hurt you also. They will first put you on a pedestal, and then they will hurt you. And this I have found, Charles, is something. That's why I'm saying that each one of us, whatever be our personal journey of achievement, and all our achievement, so to say, seemingly, is based on what people think about us. But if we can in some way insulate ourselves from that cheer party, because that cheer will at some point subside and go elsewhere, can we still retain our sanity, retain the nuts and bolts that makes us the magician? And that's the stuff that I engage with. That can we excel but not become a voyeur of our own success.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm going to give you. I know you're a fantastic storyteller. So I could go on and on listening to this.
Are you just checking one thing? Did you also say that I'm talkative? Is today a Wednesday? Is today a Tuesday? Is today a Tuesday? Just checking. Is today a Tuesday?
Today is a Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. So on Tuesdays, I do talk a bit. Yeah. Then that's okay.
The last time we spoke, it was on a Wednesday. And
Yeah, but
you said you speak a lot on Wednesdays.
yeah. Also on Wednesday. I never said that I don't speak on Wednesday. I just said that I speak a lot on Tuesday also.
Ashish, one question. I'm going to give 2 minutes to this. Okay. I have a feeling. This is my understanding. My understanding is that there's a difference between courage and audacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you define audacity?
So I don't define it, but one thing is very good. For example, words. Charles, if we play with words,
What's the
and
most audacious thing that you do?
yeah, and I get what I'm saying.
You spoke
Now,
about courage.
yeah.
What's the most audacious thing you've done?
Yeah, audacity is something which again I'll bring you back to fear. For me, fear has been something which has made me audacious. Things that they never said I could, and again for me, the world plays up, because the world in a way eggs me on. In so many ways. Let me also tell you, I also create my fodder from what people who disbelieve you. I love to create something the moment they disbelieve me. So For me, yes, audacity is that things that I never ever thought that I could. It begins with, क्या मैं कर सकता हूँ यार? Should I try this? And somebody says, तू करेगा? अब तो करूँगा. तो जिद बहुत जरूरी है मेरे लिए, and that comes on. And I will not say that it is an easy path at all. So especially, I mean, if I can just put it in reality for me, as I started working in languages other than Hindi, it was a complete no-go territory, because prior to that, Hindi film actors in the 99s of the world, they used to, in the 90s, people used to go down to South, and there were some really nice people who were very good at fights, and they used to be hired and called for that. And in fact, initially, I was lucky. The first role that I got was a fantastic role. It was a film called Dil, made by Dharani, and it was Vikram's comeback film. And but soon after, again, they would start giving me, they would narrate me a role saying that, beginning, sir, opening scene, 1 fight, pre-interval, 2 fights, pre-climax, 1 fight, final fight in climax. So I would say, but what's the role? Yeah, big fight, sir, big fight. So then I had to say no. Then I had to say no. I'm not looking for a fight role. I'm not a fighter. I'm also a fighter. I'm also very good at fights. I'm good at action, but I love to act. So I was going into a territory which I had not. So language was not there with me. Through my life, I had understood the importance of language as an actor: articulation, pronunciation, how you enunciate word, how you take pauses. Now language is out. My drawback has been, I admit it, I'm not good with languages. All right. So the 11 languages that I have worked in and I work in, I only know 3 of them. 8, I work without knowing the language. I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying how it is. So for me, the audacity that can I do roles which need emoting in languages which I don't know, that is a challenge. And trust me, my friends. So one of the things that we have to really get in life, that we put too much thing is that we need the support of people. People are, and the world is not going to support you. Please get it. World is not there to cheer for you. World is not there to cheer for you. So what is this thing that we want? I want, if I get support, people are not there to support you. I didn't know you before you, came into this life, before 20 days back, I didn't know who you were, Charles. All right. Okay. And somebody says, Charles, who Charles here? But am I a heartless person? No, I'm not a heartless person, except that I don't know Charles. And Charles has a story which is, which is moving. And Ashish has a story which is moving. But should I depend on Charles resonating with me? And, Charles, thank you for understanding. No, we don't have time for people who understand. So we have to actually say that we have got to get audacious with ourselves. And courage, I don't know whether I'm courageous or not. I will not say, but definitely I'm audacious. I set up things for myself and find ways to do it. And I will tell you, I get inspired by people. One of the reasons why I'm engaging in this conversation is that I'm tremendously inspired by IG. IG is somebody whom I've known for a few years from a distance. I've been reading his work. I've just been around who he is. It really inspires me. And this is one of the reasons that I'm here. I'm learning so much through this last 15 days, our interaction with Founding Fuel. Your extraordinary team, Anmol, you, the way you people work. My team is learning so much each day. So for us, and as I speak, is that if you're audacious, then openings will come up for you. There will be some extraordinary opportunities for you to learn from people who are much bigger than you, much taller than you. And audacity is that you dare to go and stand with them. People who are taller than you, and you don't feel like a dwarf. And that's the generosity of life. And for me, that's what drives me. That my southern sojourn, if I may be very upfront with you, my friend, everything that I own, everything that I have is thanks to my films that I've done in South. Till before that, I was in a rented existence. And then something happened. So extraordinary things happen if we dare to be audacious. All right. Otherwise, I feel that you're just living a meek life. You're feeling sorry for yourself. You're waiting for the world to turn around, situation to turn around for you to do something. And as you get audacious, you discover so many more friends. I've discovered so many new vistas, so many new worlds open up as I step into new worlds. And audacity is your willingness to step out of your, known strengths and known things that you're good at, and try and do things which new blunders. And you will find, I have found extraordinary support and extraordinary learnings from the new world.
Well, that is most generous of you, Ashish. I have some fairly audacious thoughts at the back of my mind, and I am going to try and execute some of those really audacious thoughts, and I hope I don't get thrown out of home for that kind of audacity. But having said that, it's been a fantastic 45 minutes talking to you and listening to you. And, as we come to the close of this episode with Ashish, on listening to his stories. Those of you who are tuned in and listening in, Ashish just spoke about IG. For those of you who don't know him, his name is Indrajit Gupta, and I would urge you once again that you should get to know him, and to get to know him, please come join our Slack channel and do interact with him, and do interact with all of us on the Founding Fuel team. But having said that, Ashish, what you have done is you have stoked a few questions in my mind. There are, I just want to, I don't want to summarize this session by way of answers. Instead, what you have offered for me, or you have, you've offered a few questions. So, by way of example, when people ask me, what am I tell everyone that I'm a writer. That's the box I've slotted myself into. But now I'm asking myself, is that what I am? What are my other identities? I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, I'm a neighbor, I'm a citizen. Am I doing justice to all of this? And how am I to make time for all of these identities? This is a question that you have raised in my mind.
And just one more thing, Charles, one more thing. Can I live each one of those roles? What you mentioned.
Can I live each one of those roles? Absolutely. And
in my unique way. In my unique way. Because I still, even if I want to be a writer, if that's a role, I cannot be the kind of writer that you are, Charles. I can never be. But can I write in my unique way? Can I be an amazing citizen in my unique way? And that, if we can just even take away that onus on us, that can I do justice to that? I cannot be as good a husband as my father has been to my mother. He's an extraordinary person, but can I be something amazing? As a parent, as a husband, as a friend, as an actor. Can I be my unique, phenomenal, version of that role? And that's something which inspires me.
That is something. The other question that occurs to me, Ashish, is, what happens to me when I experience fear? And how do I deal with it? You brought the question, you raised, you highlighted the story about how you experienced fear when you were young.
Charles, one thing I want to quickly point out one thing about fear. One of the key things that we have to deal with fear is to deal with how fearful we are about our reputation. And the more senior our reputation is, the more fearful we are. So when I do coaching sessions with the people that I do, One of the first things that we work with people is that how fearful are you about your reputation? So you have created something amazingly, and how much you think that will go away if I do something foolish? Because you have created something for yourself, saying that I can't do it. How will it be if you can actually be seen as someone, the marquee person who dares? And we are otherwise just trying to save our reputation, and then we become caged again. Okay? Yeah.
Yes. So you actually preempted my next question that came up in my mind. That what is my biggest fear? That was the next question that was kind of coming up in my mind. That I want to think about this question. What is the biggest fear in my mind? And the other question that occurs to me is that when was the last time that I demonstrated courage? I need to take time out to think about this, because you spoke about the times when you've demonstrated courage to shift, to make those changes in your career. How many people demonstrate those kind of?
Charles, can I also point out one thing right now, what you just said?
Right.
Just to let everybody know, Charles has been extremely conscious of coming on camera. And Charles, may I just tell you right now, what an extraordinary, you've been just amazing. You're just flowing with it, my friend. You're just flowing. So you don't have to look far from when you were, courageous. I just look at the way, you've been conducting this entire thing. So we are having victories each day. Are we recognizing is the question? It's not that we'll climb the Everest, my friend. As I said, I'll never be able to write something like the kind of stuff that IG and you write and all those eminent writers write. But can I still write something which is unique? Can I have my victory today? So let us gift ourselves that victory. So I want to really congratulate you, Charles, how you're presenting yourself, how you're holding in this completely new domain. Yeah?
Well, hey, thanks. I'm going to take that as a compliment. There are a couple of other questions. Before we close the session, I can see my, my screen is just pinging with questions. So I'm just going to check a few questions. Ashish, can you take?
Most welcome.
I'm just going to shoot them at you. So there are a few questions. Now, say for instance, there is Yatansh Kotari who's asking, have you ever suffered from self-doubt? And there is a question from Soumya Anandan, who has a question which is along the same lines, pretty much along the same lines, which is that as an actor, there are times when Mr. Vidyarthi has felt that his identity has changed, as a character's identity changed your own identity. And Ayush has a question for you, that you won a national award for the movie Dhokal. How did you prepare for that? To those of you who have tuned in, like I said, there are only a certain number of questions that we can take, but Ashish will be available to take the conversation forward on the Slack channel.
So I just lost track of the questions. I just remember the last question, that how did I prepare for Dhokal? I did not.
Did you ever suffer from self-doubt?
Oh, yes.
Did you ever suffer from self-doubt?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen
yes.
So
self-doubt. So I continuously go through it, my friend. And many years back, again, an actor friend of mine, Vipin Sharma, a wonderful actor, you would have seen him in Tare Zameen Par and many other films. We were in Delhi. We used to be part of the Sambhav theatre group. He was my senior from National School of Drama. That time I hadn't yet been to the NSD. And he shared something. I'd asked him, I said, how do we, what is an artist? I would ask such questions, studying history at the Delhi University. I had these questions, and I remember he shared something. He said something. He said, having the ability to rethink is the ability for an artist, the ability to rethink. Now, yes, I go through dilemma, but I've just cloaked in saying that I have the ability to rethink. Does dilemma freeze me? Yes, it does. I've also understood one thing. about myself. When in doubt, I move. Because I can't stay static. if I just shut myself down, then I've lost it. So when in doubt, I move. In fact, I've been known to tell Pilu, my wife, Pilu, I'm feeling down and out. I don't want to meet anybody. Let's go out and meet people this evening. So I have to disrupt myself. Of course, what I just narrated is an incident of eons back when we used to go out and meet people. Remember, Charles? We used to go out and meet people. Remember?
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
when we used to have traffic in Mumbai.
There's life BC and AD, before Corona and after domestication.
So yes, when in doubt, I move. Yes, I get dilemma, but I move. And there's something which I again use and I share with people in my workshops. And here's an interesting one. As you move, I'll just share something, okay? I'll just use it first on the Zoom thing. See, as you move, new horizons will appear. You know, if you just notice, if I just, you know, as you move, new horizons will appear. You will see more things. Now, don't look for a reason to move. Just move. And I have seen that as I have moved, new things have, new solutions have come up, new accesses I have found. Just sitting here, kaise hoga, won't work. Move. Hello, yeah. As you move, I'll see some other things. As I move, I'll see some other things. So this is something which we have under our control. So when in doubt, I move. As I said that I was going through a crisis here, not getting the kind of work that I'm getting, I started moving, just started going out, meeting people, getting more no's than yeses. And then those few yeses did something open for me. You know, about 6 years back when I started interacting with organizations, when Avid Miner was formed, that was the time, again, I was moving into new places. And in those new places, people still wanted me in that earlier one. Yeah, you must come and tell us stories about films. Huh? That's very good. Sir, वो फिल्मों से लोग बहुत सीखेंगे. Or somebody said, नहीं, अब आप, you know, you have to work theater के examples दो. Storytelling, storytelling is a bust thing. अब storytelling use करो. You're a good storyteller. I said, I'm also a storyteller. I'm also a person who loves to take a deep dive. That's why we say in Avid Miner, we are about tapping the greatness within. Avid Miner is about going deeper within ourselves, mining within ourselves. All right. And for me, these are realms where I didn't move because I knew the answers. I was very clear that I got to keep hunting for questions. And the other day, you know, I was engaging in this conversation with Pankaj Bansal, and he shared something very powerful. He shared that each one of us have come with extraordinary answers within us. Through our life, we have to find those extraordinary questions to open those answers. And for me, including this evening, is about finding interesting questions in which I can question myself, ask myself things that I haven't asked till date, because it has to be revealed. What is there within me has to be revealed. As I meet new people, they dust me. You know, they dust me. And I love this thing about, there's this fable about Michelangelo, and I love that. It says that when he was asked about David, you start talking about Da Vinci. I'm ending this conversation with Michelangelo. And he was asked that, how did you carve David? And that's something which I own. It might be a gossip, but I love it. He said that I took a slab of marble and I removed whatever was not David. And Charles, for me, each moment, each interaction of mine, I allow people to sculpt me. I allow people to chisel away the things which are not the extraordinary in me. So for me, the ability to allow yourself to be chiseled by others is what I invite people into. Because life, no one person can give you a learning for life. But if we can allow ourselves to be sculpted by the world, I promise you, the world is a phenomenal opportunity for you to discover the extraordinary within you.
So that's a fantastic way to end this conversation. May I request those of you who are logged in on Zoom to stay logged on And those of you who are logged in from other platforms, may I request you to please consider thinking about one last question. What will it take for me to be truly happy and live my life to the fullest potential? Come on board, let's discuss all of this with Ashish on our Slack channel and take this conversation forward. Thank you so much, Ashish, once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you who have joined on the various channels, and look forward to meeting you on Slack. Look forward to meeting you on our website, and also our my email ID is there. If you have any questions, let's engage in conversations. Let's discover some things. This is not a conversation about for or against. There's a conversation of discovery, and let's discover some interesting parts of this journey. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Charles, awesome. Thank you, Dost.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we'll continue on Zoom, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alshukran.